We're back here on the Hunter Call the Wild, and today we're going to be doing something very exciting. Today we're going to be talking about changes that we would love to see come to Great Ones and the Great One grind in general. Now, some of this might be fantasy land. I don't know if any of this will change. Some of it might, and none of it might, and all of it might. Well, not all of it. That would be pretty insane. But let's dive right into it. But before we do, let me know what your most wanted Great One in the game is that you do not have right now. And somewhere in the video, I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel. And we are going to head right into it. Okay, so right now we're in Te Awaroa, and it is Red Deer drink time, so we're going to start off by talking about Red Deer. Red Deer Great Ones are one of the originals. Red Deer were the second Great One added to the game, so they've been in the game for quite a long time. Now, because they are one of the OG Great Ones, they don't have Great One furs. Well, they kind of do. They have one fur, and because of that, you cannot spawn a rare Great One Red Deer. Now, I know that pretty much everyone would love to see different furs available on the Great One Red Deer, just like they are for the Great One Black Bear, for the Great One Tar, basically for all the Great Ones that have come out since Moose Great Ones were introduced to the game. But they would have to be very careful in doing this because for those of us who are lucky enough to have Red Deer Great Ones in our lodge, we don't want the Great Ones we already have in the lodge to change to have a fur. I would like my Great One Red Deer to look exactly the way that they looked when I shot them. So that could be what is holding EW back from changing the Great One Red Deer right now. But guys, if you could change anything about any Great One in the game, let me know what it would be in the comments. Currently, I have 6 Red Deer Great Ones, and the reason I am not super excited to do another Red Deer grind is because all the Great Ones pretty much look the same. Basically, I would be grinding for a super rare, and I just don't have the best super rare luck. They take me tens of thousands of kills. I have had 2 super rares over the last 4 years, and they came within 2 weeks of each other, and I literally spawned 1 super rare after 26 Great One grinds. I spawned 26 Great Ones without a single super rare. Isn't that insane? But because of that, I'm not that excited to do a Red Deer grind, but if they were to add Fabled Furs to the Great One Red Deer, I would be out there grinding Red Deer immediately. So just to drive the point home, this is my Red Deer Lodge, and these are my 6 Red Deer Great Ones. I just don't feel the need to get out and have to kill thousands of deer in order to get another one of these and have it look exactly the same. While there are little differences between them, there are 3 different rack sizes, small, medium, and large, but there isn't enough difference for me to get out there and spend time grinding Red Deer when I could be grinding to spawn a Great One that I just don't have in the lodge or anything close to it yet. Now, another change that I would make, and this is not to Red Deer Great Ones per se, but it's to all Red Deer, I would love to see Red Deer change to be a Class 7 species. I would really love to be able to use the 300 on Red Deer and get Integrity. Now, I have not done the Red Deer grind in years. Seriously, the last time I grinded Red Deer, they drank at night, so I did all 6 of my Red Deer Great One grinds, well, 5 because one of them was an initial spawn, but I did them in the dark because that's when they drank. And it's very hard to tell when a Red Deer is melanistic in the dark, and sadly, I shot this beautiful level 7 with a 300, and because of it, he is not a gold. I think Red Deer are big enough to be Class 7. They're very big deer, way bigger than lots of deer species in the game, and I just would love to see Red Deer change to Class 7. Maybe it's something that will come over the next year. Fingers crossed. So now we are in my Whitetail Lodge, and these are some of my Whitetail Great Ones. Interestingly, I would not like them to add furs to the Whitetail Great One. Do you want to know why? Well, one of the reasons is because if they did add Fabled Furs to the Whitetail Great One, there would no longer be the ability to spawn an Ultra Rare. And what is an Ultra Rare? Well, an Ultra Rare is a Great One with a rare fur. So I don't even know if they're even possible. They are supposed to be, but if they are, I would like that to stay. It is exciting to know that there is the teeny tiniest chance that when you spawn a Great One, it could be piebald, albino, or melanistic. Wouldn't that be insane? Now, other changes I would love to see come to the Whitetail Great One would be to maybe add more racks There are lots of different racks, but still, we would love to see more. Maybe different varieties of the big rack. I do love the big rack, and man, it took me many grinds to get my big rack. But the big rack, for a lot of people, spawns a lot. Wouldn't it be nice if there were different variations of that rack? I think that would be very sweet. Not only that, but it seems like there are quite a few people out there who are having a very hard time spawning a typical rack. So it would be really nice to see all of the different racks have the same spawn rate. I know my friend I Buy Premiums, he has over 100 whitetail great ones. That's just whitetail. That's not all great ones. That's just his whitetail great ones. And he doesn't have a typical rack yet. That is kind of insane. He definitely deserves one. Now, I will say that as more and more Great Ones are added to the game, they are getting better and better. The Great One Tar was the last Great One added to the game, and Tar have more rare furs than any of the Great One species in the game. There are 6 different rare furs for Tar. They are red, white, black, dark red, dark brown, all of those are rare, and albino, which is very rare. That's on top of the 7 variations of the Great One Tar that are available for us to spawn, and I have all of them, which is amazing. So I'm gonna have to say that the black and white variations, they have to have a higher spawn rate than the other rares because I have so many of them. I have so many of them, I've alternated them. White, black, white, black, white, black, white, black. Blah, 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 blah. You see what I mean? Then I have 1 albino, that's it. 1 dark brown, which I accidentally shot with the 300. Oops. 1 dark red and 1 red. So interesting how I have spawned so many black and so many white rare Himalayan tar. So evening out the spawn rates for the rares would be very sweet, but I would love to see the rest of the great ones also have more rare fur types. Wouldn't it be amazing if they added the leucistic fur for red deer and for whitetail, and maybe even fallow? As more and more great ones are added to the game, that's exactly what EW is doing. They're giving us lots of different rare furs, which is absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping at some point maybe they can go back and add more to the great one species that are already in the game. Now, I love it when great ones are on multiple maps, giving us different choices for where to do our grind. So I would love it if they were to add Tar to Te Awaroa. EW has definitely mentioned that that is something that they are considering for the future, so I wouldn't be surprised to see that change over the next year. If you are enjoying the video so far, guys, go ahead and hit that like button so it can spread to more amazing people just like you. And hit that subscribe button for more daily Call the Wild content, and let's continue. Now, I know a lot of people would like to see even more change with the Great One Tar. Some people would like to see drink zones added. Now, I'm okay with the feed zones. I like that they're different. I like that they're challenging. But for people who don't have a lot of time and just really need to get grinding, drink zones would definitely make the process easier. And now that tents have a spook rate of 180 meters compared to 0, that's what it was for about a month after the update that dropped in June, it just would be way easier to set up on drink zones because every drink zone pretty much you can set up from a distance, and it's just not that way with feed zones. You got to get lucky and have good zones in good locations when you are dealing with feed zones. Otherwise, when you're doing the tar grind, you just can't set up on them. Just can't be done. Now, I'm about to suggest a change that might be a little bit off the wall, but since we're gonna live a little bit in fantasy land, why not? Let's go for it. So here is what I'm suggesting. Wouldn't it be amazing if not just whitetail had the possibility of great ones spawning with a rare fur? Wouldn't it be amazing even with great ones that have fabled furs? How exciting would it be if all great one species in the game had the ability to spawn with a very small chance at having a rare fur? So that gives all great ones in the game the ability to spawn as an ultra rare. That would be so exciting. Now, this used to be the case back when the Great One Moose came out and they only had commons. Back then, basically spawning a Great One Moose with one of these furs was almost like spawning an ultra rare. Later on, they did change it so that there are no more commons in the game, and I actually do have 2 common Great One Moose. My first 2 were commons, and they do not exist in the game anymore. And because of that, we currently are unable to spawn a Great One Moose that is piebald, albino, or melanistic. So that guy's a common, light brown, and this guy's a common, and he has the brown fur type. And then after that, all of my Great One Moose have a fabled fur, and this is my favorite Great One out of all 34 of them. And he was actually my 13th Great One. Now, other changes I would love to see come to the game would be trophy shots, the ability to take a trophy pose, basically a photo, and have the ability to put that up on the wall in the lodge behind your trophy. That would be just such an amazing way to memorialize that special moment that finally happened after however many kills it took you to get that elusive Great One in your lodge. This is something that is in the Hunter Classic, and players love it, so I'm kind of confused as to why EW has never added this to Call of the Wild. I think it would be amazing for all trophies, not just for Great Ones, but it definitely would be absolutely incredible for celebrating our Great Ones. Now, another change that would be amazing for Great One grinds would be when you come into the Codex, having the ability for the game to not only keep track of individual species harvests. Right now, the game only records total harvests. That's how many kills I have made since I started on PC 3 years ago. But wouldn't it be nice maybe have a category down this side of the Codex for each species or for each map? And then, yeah, one for each map, and then it would list the species and how many kills for that particular species since you started playing. The other thing I would love to see come to the game are tallies. The ability for the game to keep track of individual kills for a grind. So we would be able to start it whenever we want, start at 0, and when we are finished a grind, restart that counter for the next grind. People are always asking me how I keep track of my kills, and I actually use an app for my Stream Deck, and it works great, but it would be so much simpler if the game did it for us. And I don't think that would be a very difficult change to make to the game, so here's hoping we will see it sometime down the road. Now, I love trophy lodges in this game. We definitely need more. My lodges are absolutely bursting at the seams, but there is a lot of room for improvement in the trophy lodge. Now, when you highlight any animal, I can click through and look at all of the Great Ones in this multi-mount, but wouldn't it be sweet if there were a spot for notes and that you could customize whatever it is you would like to put with each trophy so that it shows when you spot that animal in the lodge, so that you can choose what you want to remember, because my memory is absolute trash. I'm just telling you the truth. So for example, I would put Great One Fallow number 7, shot with the CB70 in Te Awaroa. I would like to remember all of that info, but none of it is recorded in the lodge currently. So by giving us the ability to take our own notes, that would definitely solve that problem, and we would have way more information when spotting animals in the trophy lodge. That would be amazing. So right now I am on the new map, Sundar Patan, and recently I moved all of my tents from the top of the map for the Great One Tar grind to the bottom in order for me to make a tiger grind video and to figure out how tigers are respawning since the update. Wouldn't it be sweet if once we are done setting up for a grind, we could save our tent locations, and then if we move them, we could simply put them back by just a click of a mouse or of a controller. That way, it doesn't take us a million hours to reset up for the grind. And I'm sure, again, that would not be a very difficult thing to add to the game. It's not something I've ever heard people ask for, but I think it would be very cool. Now, another cool thing that I would love to see change in the game, and this is not just for Great Ones, but for anything, would be when you go to place a tent and you get this delightful message: cannot place, more structures of this type are not allowed. Now, I would love it when we do get that message to have the ability to pull a tent from somewhere else on the map without moving from this location. That would save us a pile of time, because often when that happens, you have run out to a location, you don't realize that you already have the max amount of tents for any map, which is 16. When you're trying to put that 17th tent down, and you can't, usually it does take a very long time to run out and put that tent in the location where you're trying to put it. I mean, I have a tent right here. Bad example, you get what I'm saying. I just think any changes that save us time and cause us to run less and hunt more are really good changes to the game, and here's hoping it's something that will change in the near future. Now, something else that would be very cool would be the ability to make notes on maps. And again, this is something they do have in the Hunter Classic. It would be really cool to be able to record right on the map which of my zones are exterior zones, which are main shooting zones, which ones have only females, things like that. Because I don't know about you, but I don't have the best memory. I really don't. And I do often create a map and make notes in a program like Canva, but to be able to do it right in the game would be very helpful. And there's another really sweet suggestion for you, EW. That would be awesome. Can we please have it? I mean, it would be beneficial for Great One grinds, but it also would be very helpful for just hunting in general. Anything you want to remember, jot it down on the map and it'll be there for you next time you go out and hunt. Now, another thing that I would love to see added to the game, and again, this has nothing to do with Great Ones, would be more waypoints. Right now, we are only able to put one waypoint down on the map. Couldn't be that hard to give us the ability to have 3 or 4 waypoints and just have them be different colors. Would you guys like to see that? I definitely would. Now, I know a lot of non-grinders would love to have the ability to spawn a Great One without having to grind. What if they brought back initial spawn Great Ones, but this would only work if we had an anti-cheat in the game? Maybe that's something that eventually can come to the game. I would love to see that. But the reason that initial spawn Great Ones, pretty sure this is the reason they were taken out of the game, is because people can reset their population on PC and then scan and do that over and over and over again until a Great One jumps onto their map, and then all they have to do is go and shoot it. Pretty sure that's why there are no more initial spawn Great Ones, but having initial spawn Great Ones would give people the ability to just find a Great One. I mean, it's a very small chance, but still a chance without grinding, but that would only work if we did have an anti-cheat. Now, I don't know a whole lot about anti-cheats. I think a lot of changes would probably have to come to the game first, but you never know what's gonna come down the road in the future for Call of the Wild, so it's nice to think about, and maybe one day we'll see it. We all want to see more Great Ones added to the game, and I would say that the most popular votes for the next few Great Ones would be to see a Great One Muley, a Great One Roosevelt or Rocky Mountain Elk, a Great One Lion or Great One Wolf, Grey Wolf or Iberian, to name a few. Now, I personally would love to see a Great One Reindeer come to the game. Diamond Reindeer have such incredible racks. And last but not least, I would love to see them add multi-mounts with multiple different Great One species in them. Having a multi-mount that would have all 6 Great One species in the game in one mount would give someone a pretty lofty goal. To fill that multi-mount would definitely keep you gaming for a very long time. But even smaller multi-mounts, like having a Great One Moose with a Great One Black Bear, would be super awesome. So the game could definitely stand to have a lot of new multi-mounts added to it, and I hope some of them will have multiple species of Great Ones in them for us to enjoy. But if you did enjoy the video, guys, splat that like button. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Your trophy lodge will thank you. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm gonna recommend that you watch this video next.